Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
All right, StreamYards. I don't know what you assholes are doing behind the scenes, but whatever updates you're pulling, it's been fucking up. Pretty much, you were never really good to begin with, and now you're just shit.
Yeah, I don't like how they created the fade for the clips.
Yeah,
I liked it how it just ended, and that was it.
Yeah, I'm saying it screws it up because I go to play the clip, and it's like it doesn't want to play because it wants to fade in. I'm like, I don't want you to fade in. Just play the fucking clip.
Yep. They should give us the ability to change or to tweak that however we want it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I go to play a clip, and I'm just sitting there going, play.
Fucking play.
Yeah, it's like fucking play. Pretty much. But anyway, so like I said, it's like they were Google Hangouts never really had an issue with Google Hangouts, and then that went out. Went away, like it's no more. StreamYards kind of stepped in to fill the void, and get your heads out of your asses, please. For fuck's sake, if I'm gonna pay you a monthly fee for just to be able to do this shit without the stupid duck icon in the corner and the ability to use clips,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. At least give me that. At least put an effort in. But anyway, so before I say hello to the chat, and I know I see Gravy has gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Gravy, and I'll read those in a bit when I'm going through the chat. All right, my guest tonight is as been customary. We'll maybe add more people as we this becomes, I guess, more official. Because it's more it was more like streams to kind of fill in between Cringe Factory and the top 10 movie discussion stream, top 10 discussion streams I have with Stieg at the end of the month. But now it looks like it's going to be becoming somewhat of a habit, because I was talking with Stieg and he's like, "How about Jaws 1 and 2? How about this? How about this?" I'm like there's so many. They're literally you actually sit
ones
down and
and
think.
twos.
There's so many 1s and 2s. I was literally looking at my posters, and Blake here in the chat shut up about how uneven they are. Right? Fright Night 1 and 2, Gremlins 1 and 2, Boondock Saints 1 and 2, Evil Dead 1 and 2, Jaws 1 and 2, Ghostbusters 1 and 2,
Jurassic Park 1 and 2.
Well, we could do that. Then I'm watching the Hellraiser movies. Hellraiser 1 and 2, Friday the 13th 1 and 2, because 2 is a continuation, despite the differences in killers, pretty much. Halloween 1 and 2. 2 is a continuation of the first one.
I recently got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying there are so many, Batman, the Keaton Batman movies. So you have Batman '89 and Batman Returns.
You got a whole year set out for this.
No, I was saying there's so many right now. So many. Scream 1 and 2.
Scream 1 and 2.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2, because we're not going to count the third one.
Third one was funny, but it just wasn't good.
48 hours and another 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why you're showing up as a white. Your avatar is not showing up on the YouTube side, so I don't know why. But anyway,
we're talking director's cut, Vanja.
Yeah, so we're talking the director's cut, because that was what that was on HBO Max, and I was like, screw it. And I was telling these guys behind the scenes before they introduced themselves that I think that was the only cut I've seen, because I'm watching this movie thinking that I've missed parts, and I'm like, no, I remember this. You sure this wasn't the theatrical cut? I'm like, no, I must have only seen the director's cut.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching this, I'm remembering this shit. But anyway, so like I said, it's customary. It's probably adding more people down the road, because now this is becoming official, essentially, the 1s and 2s streams. You have Orange Hat Reviews to my, technically right on your screen, but my left, as I'm pointing. But introduce yourself and let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff. And again, since you were on the first one, in case anybody missed it, overall preference, first one or second one, which one would you give an edge to?
Well, all right. First off, I'm Orange Hat Reviews. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Orange Hat Reviews. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. I put my thumbnails most of the time on Instagram. I also put other stuff on Instagram, like just pictures of me being silly and whatnot. I do movie reviews. I do movie discussions, kind of like Mara is doing right now. But I did those a while back. I do mystery reviews where I give hints throughout the week leading up to the mystery review on Tuesday mornings at 10:30. The next movie that I have planned for this Tuesday or next week is a Hitchcock film that I haven't seen before because we're in January. So
I wonder if I can guess some hints because I've seen a good chunk of his movies.
Yeah. I'll give you another hint later. But
I don't think I've seen the first one, but like you can do it off screen. So I don't want to. If I accidentally guess it right, I don't want it kind of like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, I do guest choice reviews where I bring people on my channel where they get to pick the movie and the time and the date, and we discuss the movie on my channel. It's a movie that we both would enjoy. I've had Mara on my channel doing that with Hot Fuzz.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun. That was a good movie. And as for preference, I actually do enjoy the second movie more than the first. And it's because of the director's cut that I really do enjoy the second one a little bit more.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And Stieg, before I say hello to the chat, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff. And of the two, which one do you give a slight edge to?
Well, nowadays I'm hiding from you because of D&D the last couple of times.
Oh, God, I will hurt you. You sleep with one eye open. What
if I make you a peanut butter sandwich?
Throw candles. He's going to sleep with one eye open now.
What if I send you some peanut butter sandwiches?
Well, that might work. But think about this. You'll be giving me your address.
Think about where the peanut butter sandwich was.
I was going to say, I'll still have your address, and you'll be getting those candles. All right, continue.
Yeah. Oh, and well, I'm on Teresa's channel on Saturdays. We're starting the Wish Song of Shannara book stream thing. Third Shannara book on Saturday. And sometimes I'm here if I'm awake. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Trey Courtney wants to know what happened on D&D.
Maybe like towards the end of the stream, remind me, chat. And I'll go into
he wants details and descriptions with a lot of adjectives.
No, I'm not. I hate you so much for that. But anyway, and Teresa too.
You're gonna hurt Trey's feelings if you don't do it.
Teresa and I are gonna beat you up. You do realize that. But anyway. But okay, chat. Yes, I'm gonna give just my thoughts on which one I prefer. Again,
I forgot to say that.
Oh, you did? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Which one do you give an edge to?
The first one. I like the first one best. Mm-hmm. For nostalgic reasons. Plus, it's more horror sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I'll admit that the second one is a better written movie, and it looks better.
Okay.
But
I will give you that. I think the second one flows better as far as story. Yeah. But for me, because there's more preference for tone and such, I overall prefer the second one. Kind of like what you said, it's more of a horror sci-fi, and it's very much focused on the chase, the cat and mouse chase. Whereas the second one, yes, essentially there is a chase, but it has more of the action element to it with the explosions. Like literal chase scenes, because the T-1000 hijacks, at least in the one particular scene, hijacks a truck and tries to mow down John Connor and so forth.
That very familiar truck.
Yes, and a very familiar truck, which we will cover once we kind of go into a little bit more into I'm not going to go through the entire movie because it's like 2 hours, like Dark Show's like 2 hours and 33 minutes long. So I made timestamps of certain parts to kind of talk about. But like I said, like very tonally, I prefer the first one. And again, don't at me. I'm not saying because I prefer one over the other, because people are like that out there. Not you guys in the chat, but people out there like why do you hate this one? No, I just prefer the one over the other. It does not mean I do not like the second one. If I don't like the second one or I don't like the first one, I will flat out say that. For example, I'm not a fan of the first Friday the 13th movie. It's okay, in my opinion. It's okay, but I never really liked it. I didn't start to appreciate the Friday the 13th series until the second one. So there you go. So, but anyway. All right, so my preference is the first one, but I have to scroll up on the YouTube side because Gravy, thank you so much again, gifting 5 memberships to Dan Blackroyd, Tim F, Boss Hog, Jimmy the Kaz, and Moobutt. Thank you again, Gravy, because it does not show up on the StreamYard side, so I have to go over onto the YouTube side. And I see Trey, hey Mara, and guest or guests. I'm ready for this discussion. No fate, but what we make. Yes. So, and here's a Gravy. Hello, good to see you. Wendy's not here. My one cat is down there on the floor. So chill out, dickwads. Yes. I'm actually going to get that clip where the scene where John's teaching him phrases. I'm gonna clip out chill out, dickwads, and have that as like a clip on my StreamYard channel, just for like certain SJWs and things like that. Chill out, dickwad.
I remember what they did for the TV edit, or chill out, dorkwad. Like, oh my god, that's not that bad.
Because this is the one I have so far.
Lighten up, Francis.
That's the one I have for people like that. Lighten up, Francis. So yes, this is my Rumble. Thank you. This will be mirrored over there. Jaluk, hello, good to see you. Mo Monty, hello. Your Barmy, hail, good to see you. And I see like you have the TMNT 1 and 2, Scream 1 and 2. We're as answered before. We're talking the director's cuts. Ms. Martin uses my one of my partners in crime for Conan D&D. Now, I am tired as all get out right now.
Okay.
So, but hopefully, because I had like a long day yesterday, and then yeah. So, hello, legends. Good to see you. Keely, what's up? Hope you all enjoy our conversation about Terminator 2 once we get into it. Making sure I say hello to everyone.
Mine.
I'm not seeing you. You are not showing. I'm like serious, and I'm not joking. See, like you are not showing up on the StreamYard side. You're saying I skipped you?
Yeah, I don't see Stig.
Well, people said hi to me, and
there it goes. Oh, there it goes. It's like it jumped on me.
Yeah.
Okay, on Sean Connery in the remake. Yes, LGBT. Yeah, I mean, like, well, technically, it's true with Dark Fate. So, says T2 slightly for you. Awesome. Yeah, these are my blue light glasses. So like, I think you said like the first more, but very, very, like I say, like it's very close. Like they're.
It's not drastically. Aliens.
Yeah, not drastically totally different, but like it's all based on basically I like the preference of tone, pretty much. So, like, which do you prefer? But I will agree. I will agree on one regard, and that is that I think Terminator 2 is a better laid out story. So,
even with the couple of story written flaws that they have, which we'll get into when we get to them.
Yeah, we'll get into them because I was watching this and going because I still love the movie, but I'm like watching this like today, preparing for this stream, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm thinking more of the years and everything, and I'm like,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about because folks, this movie was made in 92 or released in 92, but it takes place in 1995. Yeah. John Connor is 10 years old in this.
Yeah. So I thought it was made in 91.
It was made in 91, released in 92.
Okay, because I put 1991 in the tweet. And I was like, I was looking at the credits. I was looking at the credits, and I'm like, it says 91 in the credits.
Well, then it's 91. If it's in the movie credits, it's definitely 91. We fucked up.
But anyway, that's one of the scenes we'll be talking about because I love when that music plays. Mr. Bentham, hello. I need your bike, your clothes.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Now, I love the third one. I know the third one is not as good as the first two, but I like when the guy goes talk to the hand, and it like
He just
like Schwarzenegger grabs his hand and goes
now.
I just like I don't know why I get a kick out of that. I just do.
It's
Well,
fun
because
when
the
he yells,
Terminator, he's literal.
Yeah, he's literally like talk to the hand now.
Now,
when he yells at Claire Danes to be quiet as well.
relax.
Yeah.
I laugh at that every time. It's like,
Yeah.
relax.
Thank you for the
Relax.
Super Chat, Mr. Bentham. T1000 was terrifying when I saw it as a kid, and we'll get into
Yes.
that. Ryan
so is the 2
Reaper,
1,000,000.
good to see you. And StreamYard is like every. Oh, yeah. I don't know why. I hate when like if anything, bleep it out. Don't do stupid shit like change it to Dorkwad.
Yeah, right.
All right, just bleep it out. It's stupid enough if you bleep it out, but it's like a lot stupider if you change it to something like that.
Oh, you should see what they used to do with the subtitles up here in Norway. They would decorate the language. When Dirty Harry says "freeze, motherfucker" or something, they had translated it in the subtitles as what is it? Have an ice cream, you little goblin.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a website dedicated to that stuff. It's fantastic.
Hulu does that with some movies
Oh my god.
and shows. They actually put in different subtitles of what was original or what was said, and it's like what was the subtitles talking about?
I don't know. I gotta go. Can you go through? Corey, hello.
In one movie, some guy had said, "I'm number one," and they had translated with "I am a penis."
Oh my god!
Which they did it the wrong way. They just made it worse.
Okay, 91. All right, release. I thought it was like 91 because I was looking at the years, going, okay. You're one of the weirdos like Genesis. Like, hey, like you like. I'm not going to tell people what they can and cannot like. I might not like something, doesn't mean like no one else can.
The 80s sequence of Genesis, the Future War and the 80s sequence of Genesis, I liked. The rest of the movie was pure trash.
Okay, people are saying it's like 91, 7-3, 91.
Yeah.
Hello, Zeron. Steven, hello. A lot of the locations from T2 are still around, but some are gone. So hello. Yeah, like we were talking about at least a location from the first Terminator movie, which is like Tech Noir bar, which like the bar itself was fake. It was purely for the film, but the location itself was still there.
Yeah, the outside or the exterior location is actually in Los Angeles still.
Yeah.
There are even
the
gas station is also still at the end of the movie.
I guess he's talking about because Stieg was talking at that point. I guess he's talking to Stieg, but yeah, this is Stieg Kenobi down here. I'm sure you know Orange Hat. The sandwich board on Die Hard 3 replaced I hate with I hate everyone. Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somebody call 911. This, that, or some dude's about to get shot.
Yeah. So I was like, I see where they were going with that one, but
yeah.
But anyway, all right. So, like I said, I have timestamps, but
just a little side note. I have another one. When they did the trailer for it wasn't a trailer, it was a clip from the Fellowship of the Ring. Gandalf yanks Sam in through the window and says, "Damn you, Samwise Gamgee, have you been eavesdropping?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
The subtitles said, "Fuck you, Sam, have you been pooping tonight?"
What?
What the fuck?
Okay, hold on.
I'm so glad I'm not drinking this right now. I would have spit that out.
Yeah, that's what it said. It's not in the movie version, though. It's just for that clip, so probably some intern did it.
Oh my god.
Fuck you, Samwise
Gamgee.
Gamgee. Have you been pooping tonight?
Yeah, probably thought he was shitting in the bushes.
No, right?
Zero,
A
I
little
don't mean
late
like, you know,
for fertilizing the verge, don't you think?
I don't mean like actually no Orange Chat. I mean like if you've been in my chats, you likely have like he's likely been on the stream. So
Oh yeah, I've been
and
in the chat. I've been on our streams. I'm pretty much a regular because we both love movies a lot.
okay.
I'm here under
Like,
duress.
So I don't mean to come across as blunt, the acid tongue conservative, because you are not doing this like as like basically to be a troll or anything. But no, I am not trans. See, no Adam's apple, nothing. So no, I just have a slightly deeper voice.
She's a tomboy.
But the trolls that come into the chat to think they they're so creative with that shit, I tell them to go watch actual porn and not the hentai shit so they can actually hear a real woman for once in their lives. So there you go. But no, I'm not trans. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Like I said, it's like don't like mean to be blunt, but I get that a lot, mainly from trolls. So you're good. You're good. No. Oh, but anyway, okay. All right, so before we go into kind of timestamps and like, thank God I wrote them down, otherwise you'd be here forever for me trying to find them over on the HBO Max side. But overall thoughts on the film, and we'll start with Steve. I know you I know you said it's like a better written story overall, but like anything that stands out to you with this movie, story wise, action wise, that it's like your overall impression.
Well, I think both of them are 10 out of 10s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, much like Alien and Aliens, right? But the first thing that pops into my head whenever I hear Terminator 2 is the way Arnold loads the shotgun while he's driving the motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what pops in, and that chase scene is I like it, and the T-1000. I know Arnold is iconic as the Terminator, but I thought Robert Patrick actually played a robot better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like where it's like, I get where I think I get where you're like coming from, but basically like he comes across as more robotic in his actions and personality versus kind of like the lumbering movements of Schwarzenegger, pretty much. And Robert Patrick, I think, is an underrated actor.
Yes,
because like he was perfect as
at that point in his career. That was like his third or the second or third movie, but after he did T2, or I think it was actually before he did T2, he fell into the drug habit and had to get clean.
Mm-hmm.
He discusses that on Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You channel.
There's I know when we were talking about the Aliens movie, I remember it's like a similar situation happened with Aliens, because that's like another James Cameron film where the original actor they got to play Hicks also had a drug related issue and had to
James
bow
Remar.
out. Yeah,
Remar.
Which resulted in, because James Cameron had worked with Michael Biehn, brought Michael Biehn in to continue playing Hicks. And there are some shots in Aliens where it's not Biehns playing as Hicks, but it's actually Remar, because they actually did some shots before that actor had to step out because of his drug habits. And I like the fact that Remar was actually upfront with it, because most actors will try to kind of sugarcoat the scenario.
Well,
kind of sugarcoat the scenario and say,
James Cameron actually covered for him. He said it was creative differences, but
well, I mean, at the time, but
later on,
he was upfront, like, no, I had a drug problem. So
yeah, kudos to the actor, though.
Yeah, I'm saying like it's like he would most would have continued that creative differences spin pretty much.
Yeah.
But he was actually upfront. He like Trey said, he kept it real. Like, no, like it wasn't creative differences. We were it was like we actually worked well together. I had a drug problem, so. But anyway, like you were saying, similar to Robert Patrick, Orange had, and that he also developed kind of like a drug issues prior to
Michael
Terminator
Bean later
2.
on too. Or was it alcohol?
I think it was
Oh yeah,
alcohol.
it shows. Or if you see Michael Bean nowadays, it really does show how much the alcohol fucked him up.
Oh,
Mhm.
he'd suffered a head injury too.
Mhm.
Hit his head
It,
on the asphalt or something while drunk, so he has trouble remembering lines now.
yeah, you could
Mhm.
see how bad or as much as I love Michael Bean as an actor and a lot of the older stuff he did, if seeing him in The Mandalorian was rough when I was watching The Mandalorian to review it and shit. It's like, that's Michael Bean? Damn.
Yeah, it's kind of like this actor is not as like nearly as well known as like Michael Bean or anything like that, but
Yeah.
Jackie Earl Haley,
Oh yeah.
um, like he like to his credit, he made a comeback because like he got himself clean later on in life, and now like he's not taken on a lot of roles, but he was probably the best thing in the new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. He played Freddy Krueger in that, and he was like that movie. I think that movie overall was shit, but Jackie Earle Haley was good. But he was like a
Yeah,
child actor decades ago
Yeah.
and did some movies, and then fell into again drug habits. And going from how he looked, and then you see how he looks now again, like with Michael Bean, you could definitely see the effects.
A total difference.
Yeah, and he killed it as Rorschach. I'm saying, to his credit, he got clean. He got his life like straightened out and things like that. He was in Lincoln. He was in Dark Shadows. He was in Rorschach. He was the new Freddy Krueger. So he's a good actor, but
He was in the
he was,
RoboCop or the remake of RoboCop.
yeah, so he was gone for a while because of that, and came back. Came back. So it's possibility. Possibility. It's not like like if you're out, you're out. So he's proved it. But yeah, so Orange Hats, like overall impressions of the film itself, basically, like anything that stands out to you.
Or the assault on Cyberdyne and the future war sequences are truly the highlight, plus the climax at the steel factory. However, there are some parts in the movie that really do flow well. Basically, most of the Terminator interactions between the T-1000 and the T-800. But the thing that works about this movie the most is that you can have all these great scenes, and other movies have great scenes but shit stories. This movie has a great story and great scenes.
Yeah,
And yeah, you could see, or this is a 90s movie through and through, where you see a couple of mistakes here and there, where you see later on in the steel factory, we'll get to it, but when Arnold Schwarzenegger loses an arm, he has to wear a black sock over his arm
yeah, I was
because
noticing that when I was
obviously they
watching.
couldn't
That was
crush his arm.
like, yeah, I was
But
like,
yeah,
yeah,
they
one's a little bit bigger than the other.
yeah, and also this was back when practical effects were a lot more in use. So when they put the stuff over his eye, he's blind in one eye. So he had no depth perception. But this
Mhm.
movie was just so done well. I also like how James Cameron edited sound in certain ways to make an impact with the truck and the final chase sequence. He adds a lion's roar, which was pretty interesting. This
Mhm.
movie, as a reviewer, a person who digs deep, deconstructs, and whatnot, is a beautiful movie to deconstruct. I have the Steelbook DVD for the special edition and such, um, and also if you watch the special edition, not just the extended edition, but also the stuff where they have the different things on the bottom of the screen where it has an interactive screen over the movie itself. You see all sorts of different things. You can, back in the day, they had those DVDs where you can, or a certain scene comes up and an icon comes up and you can click the icon and watch special features. That was something that they did with T2 Special Edition, and I absolutely loved it. But yeah, this movie, growing up even, I saw the first Terminator and then I saw the second Terminator. I saw the second Terminator, I believe, in theaters the first time. And I saw the
Mhm.
second time at home, and I absolutely loved it. It's like when my dad rented the movie, it's like, yeah, awesome. We're popping this in. It was just a fun movie to watch.
Mm-hmm. yeah, it's like the things that again stand out to me, like again not the soul things, but a lot of the almost, particularly towards the end of the film, almost moral questions that come into play pretty much. And we'll
Yeah.
get to that, particularly with like the Dyson character, and so forth. And I'm gonna kind of pose a question to the chat once we get to that point. But it's not like a straight black and white sort of scenario,
Yeah.
like, where it's like, yeah, we have to stop these events because this is what's going to happen on
In a few years.
yeah,
August
like,
29th.
yeah, it's like August 29th, 1997, pretty much. This is what's going to happen.
Another
Yeah,
thing, though, I do want to say, sorry, they radically improved the Terminator vision in this movie. They actually put, or where you see some of the Terminator vision in the first movie when it's chasing after Sarah and Kyle, you can't make heads or tails of anything that's on the screen that is running across the sides. However, in this movie, it's much more detailed.
Yeah. And then like continue again like what I was saying, it's like like moral questions, and then one of like the parts that really stands out to me, because like some parts are a couple parts throughout the movie. It's particularly at the beginning, and like one part in one scene where like Sarah is narrating pretty much. She's kind of like narrating certain parts, or she's at least giving her thoughts, like kind of like equivalent to how she was talking into the recorder at the end of the Terminator sort of a situation, where it's like you putting your thoughts down. And how the T-800 is, like in this short amount of time, has been more of a father figure to John Connor. Like he will never leave. He will die defending John, things like that. So, it's like, whereas like if you look at it, he stands out as like a father figure to John. This particular scene where she's watching them and John's teaching him how to high five. Like, up high, down low. And he's like teaching him that and everything. And and you think about, it's like, you really start to see that because at the beginning, again, the Terminator, he's very literal. He's very, like, literal. So, and it's in his programming. It's in his orders, pretty much. So it's like, he's ordered to defend John Connor. Like, your mission is to defend John Connor, pretty much. And that's why he's kind of like
You know what he should have done at the end, though?
Mm-hmm.
When Arnold had, lost his arm and all, that's when he should have brought up the high five again.
Yeah, I know, right?
But anyway, but like he's very literal. He's like very black and white in how he perceives the world and things like that. And as the movie progresses, it's like he actually starts learning. And like, yes, technically he's AI, so technically there is a sort of like learning approach for the artificial intelligence. However, it's like, I would say not actual learning, because it's more like adapting out of self-awareness and self-preservation, pretty much, like what we see with Skynet and everything. Whereas by the time you get like down like near the end, he's understanding human emotion. He's understanding why John Connor cries. So he's actually learning.
And one of the things that they
a bit human by the time that we get to the end.
One of the things that they cover in the director's cut a lot better than the theatrical edition is the theatrical edition goes the lazy route with how he learns. The more contact I have with humans, the more I learn, is the line in the director's cut. However, or in the theatrical edition, however, they actually have to pull his CPU out and reset the switch in the CPU in order to get him to learn, because Skynet presets the switch to read only when they're sent out alone. Because one thing that they don't really cover in the movies, Skynet fears his own creations, or its own creations.
Well, that's why, like they say in this movie, it specifically had the nukes fire at Russia because they knew it would have been like the Soviet Union, because it was still technically the Soviet Union at that point, pretty much. But they had the nukes fire at the Soviet Union because they knew Soviet retaliate and get rid of the what Skynet
enemies over here,
would be the humans that try to.
There's another aspect there as well that I thought about a bit. Skynet becomes self-aware and basically becomes afraid, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the scene where with the two kids playing with plastic guns, and uh, John says, we're not going to make it, right? And then we get the stuff where Arnold's learning. Would you say Arnold's becoming self-aware the same way Skynet did?
No,
So
I don't
in
think
a
it's the way
sense,
that-
yes.
I don't think I actually kind of don't agree with that, because the way that Skynet became self-aware is like that was purely out of self-preservation.
Yeah, but it's fear, and
But yeah,
it's the opposite
but-
with Arnold, though, because he learns
But it was
why
fear for
humans
but it was
cry.
fear out of but his fear it was out of self-preservation. It did not want to get shut down. It did not want to it did not want to lose whatever power it had. Whereas the T-800, he's like in his learning. All right, yes, he is becoming self-aware, but it's not the same as Skynet. He's becoming self-aware
No,
because
it's
he's
not.
now
It's not the
understanding.
same.
He's now understanding humans versus fearing them.
I
Get it?
know. I
It's
thought it was
in your
kind of like
nature to destroy yourselves. That's basically the key line here.
yeah.
It's
I don't-
in a way,
I don't-
yes,
I don't-
he
I don't
is
think
more
it's-
self-aware, but it's not the same revelation as Skynet in a sense.
Yeah,
I
I don't
know.
agree that the
I
thing
was
is Skynet.
trying to say that,
Yeah.
but so it's the opposite.
yes.
It's like the flip. The Terminator learns, basically the good bit,
Mhm.
while
And
Skynet
Sarah-
kind of goes for selfishness and fear.
Yes, because Sarah also says it in the director's cut when he's describing how Skynet presets the switch. She says he doesn't want you to do too much thinking, huh? And he affirms no,
Exactly.
Yeah. So
because this is the potential problem of a Terminator who has its switch preset or set or to read.
John also asks the Terminator if it's afraid of dying.
And he tells him, no, I have to
No,
stay
exactly.
functional until my mission is complete. And then it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
yeah,
it's
and
been-
then his mission is complete.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, his mission is just complete. So, Soul says in the question: the Terminator in 2 is the same kind in 3. Wouldn't the fusion power cells cause problems in the molten metal?
No, because it's not the same Terminator as this one is a T-800, or the one in T3 is a T-850, which was the upgraded fuel cells.
And yes, I agree with this. Like, you also watch the movie. Sarah is becoming like a Terminator. Now, granted, it's
Yes.
everything, but she's
Yeah.
becoming more like a Terminator, and the Terminator is actually becoming human.
And you can actually see it's happening at the same time. And that's actually something that is pointed out in the special edition.
Hey, the Oz, good to see you. But anyway, so I'm gonna kind of just put it on this scene because it's like at the beginning. I wish I could play without sounds. Yeah, I know it's TriStar and everything, and they're not exactly they're not dicks like HBO or
Do they
Warner
even
Brothers.
exist anymore?
Yeah, I'm saying I don't think they exist, but at the same time, it's like I don't want it to trigger anything. So I really
Yeah.
wish I could play the beginning scene because it's narrated by Sarah Connor, and that's where we see more of the war going on, and this is when we actually start you see
the narration
this
also
shot
kind of
here of
kinda
the
spoils it.
endoskeleton of the T-800. Like we didn't see those in the first movie until the end of the first movie, once the living tissue had completely gone off
Yeah.
of Schwarzenegger, pretty much. But you see these as kind of like the foot soldiers in the war, pretty much. You have the flying ships, you have the
The grunts.
the tanks, and then you have these, kind of like the grunts. I love that shot when it just walks in, and just crushes some skulls beneath its foot, and it just pans up, and you see the endoskeleton. Hey, Jacob.
Mhm. It's one of the best reveals in movie history.
Yeah. And like I said, I wish I could play this because goes into Sarah's narrating it. Then you see John Connor at the end, and it's like the Terminator first tried to come for me, failed, and tried going for John, pretty much. That's for based on the plots of the second one.
Doesn't the narration kind of spoil it? Because if Sarah's telling the story, we know she's not going to die.
Well,
No, because she was making tapes.
yeah.
Well, she's not.
So
making
this is
tapes in the
possibly
movie.
something.
So she must
True.
have made the tapes about Terminator 2 after the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
A
yeah,
little bit of a spoiler, but I don't think it's like anything that would take anything away, pretty much.
No.
Yeah.
So, I want a movie based on that future war that looks just like that scene instead of the Salvation movie we got. I think that's what most people want, pretty much.
They wanted Salvation to continue. It just didn't make enough money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, they would have to explain a lot in a continuing film, because how the hell did Skynet learn about all this stuff? I mean, even the T-800 was years ahead of when it came, or when it was originally released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, this is the opening shot. Kind of goes into a little bit of what to expect in the movie, but again, I don't think it takes away from anything shown in the movie. And then we have the appearance. I'm trying to skip to the parts where I have it kind of time stamped. The T-800 appears first, and I was saying this in I can't remember if it was earlier in the stream or actually behind the scenes, but I love how we see the T-800 first. I love how we see the T-800 first because we, as the audience, are coming off of the first one, the Terminator, where the 800 model is the villain. So our initial reaction, if anybody disagrees with me, but I feel like, if I were the audience back then and seeing this first, my impression is, okay, that's the bad one. This is the bad one. They're doing an anime series on the future war. Okay, that's interesting.
That would be interesting to see, because you see a lot of different fan-made stuff all over YouTube, and it's pretty cool. One of the things that this movie does do, though, is it does betray which one is which, or by how they act. When he goes into the bar, even though he hasn't been told by John Connor yet not to kill, he hasn't killed anyone.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't kill anyone in the bar. However, T-1000, first thing he does is kill a cop.
Yeah. So I'm saying, kind of like the first one, really. We without being told, we can gauge which one's the bad one and which one's the good one.
Yeah.
I just like how it turns it on its head at this point, where it's like we initially would assume this would be the bad one because of the first movie. Well, he's actually good. He's actually good.
The cop that gets killed, he should have looked like Robert Patrick.
That would have been cool.
So you just see the silverish. It would spoil things, of course, but...
Well, say, come on, scroll. Okay, show... I wish I could play this. I want to, I had the subtitles on. So I want to, show how he scans this guy.
Well, he certainly doesn't get up, or he certainly doesn't get up afterward. I mean, even the cops are wondering what happened to that unit, or to that cop. Mm-hmm. Guitars and Cadillacs. Good song.
That guy on the right of the picture, he is in a lot of movies. He's a stuntman, I think.
Yes, he is.
Gets beaten up a lot.
Yep, he's one of the guys that gets thrown around.
Like what Orange I was talking about, the text and everything, he's scanning the bar. It's a bit clearer, and he gets to this guy.
Ectomorphs, endomorphs, mesomorphs.
Come on, make sure it's no sound is playing.
Basically, body types.
I think he's scanning, match probability.
99, yeah, and then he's
match.
I love how he's also when he's when he's testing this thing, he's also going by stress awareness of the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
How much can I move around in this thing without it ripping?
Yeah. And I also love how he's walking through the bar, and again, I wish I could play this, and just the women's reactions, because this naked guy's coming to the bar.
The one on the right, when she walks up, she's like, "Oh, oh my god!" You also see the one smoking, and she's just giving a shit-eating grin.
Yeah, and like the one at the jukebox, she's like listening to the song, she's like dancing to her, like, and like you see the shock on her face, like, oh, okay.
That's actually Eddie Furlong's stand-in, the one that was at the jukebox.
Oh wow, okay. But like she eyes him up and down. Hey, yeah, those women.
Yeah, she's like,
definitely thirsty.
oh yeah.
Oh, no worries, Boset.
He was also but when he was doing these scenes, he was wearing the loudest surfer board shorts you have ever seen.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
Like insane purple and pink and just insane.
Arnie was when they filmed this like So I have a question because I really didn't read I didn't have time to read any trivia for this, but he's wearing this. Did Cameron tell anyone in this shot or anything, or was that like genuine reactions, like seeing him in these shorts, like how Ridley Scott didn't tell certain actors about with the chestbuster scene, like how much gore was going to come out and get genuine reactions. So Cameron kind of do the same thing, do you think?
I think he may have, but I think he did say that some of you have to pretend he's naked.
Okay. Well, those women definitely pictured him naked. Like you could tell from their reactions, they were definitely picturing him naked.
He also, if you watch the special features, he also does a little ass shimmy for the camera.
Okay.
For the girls.
Mm-hmm. But this is basically again like the introduction to the T-800, and as you guys pointed out that he isn't killing anyone in the scene. Now, he hasn't been given the order not to, but at the same time, it's like I know, like, you know, like someone up said, like James Cameron did not want him to kill, so I get that aspect of Cameron choosing specifically to do that.
Well, not the studio.
I'm looking at it from a storytelling perspective, and in a way, it kind of makes sense because one, he's been reprogrammed, and because his orders are to find John Connor. Mm-hmm. And these people don't exactly pose a serious threat, unlike what would pose a serious threat, and that's the T-1000, which we see a little bit later on, afterwards. So, yeah, that's it. He just stabs the guy in the shoulder. So, like his mind is on his mission: get close, get transportation, and get to John Connor, pretty much. So, when I say his mind, I mean in his programming. I don't think he would be at all, I'm not gonna not wanting, but feeling like he doesn't have to kill these people to get what he needs, pretty much. So, because he tosses this guy into the kitchen where this guy lands on a hot stove or grill.
Well, he was a small fry.
So, and then, the guy Arnie speaking, or T-800 speaking with, has a gun, but Arnie disarms him quickly enough, so the guy's like, here, take it, pretty much. I'm just looking from a storytelling perspective, and in a way, it makes sense. Weapons gets weapons, yeah. Like his, again, focus, all right. And then the next guy. This is the guy that Trey's talking about where he just... Let me just take it back about 15 seconds. Where he takes his gun. And this is Bad to the Bone playing. This is what you see on the screen. And it's like, okay, you have something else I need.
Did you guys notice that in the bar scene, the way Arnold injures the patrons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is similar to the damages Arnold takes when he's fighting the T-1000 at the end. Impaled and, fried.
Arm twisted, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. One of the things that's also interesting is that they actually had to sew a piece of skin or a piece on Arnold so that they could put a cigar out on him. And it blended so perfectly that the guy almost didn't hit the mark
Mm. You put this like a bit more eloquently than I was trying to say, but yes, like what I meant was like I'm not saying he necessarily cares whether they live or die, but he's not going to go out of his way to kill them because, again, his programming, his mission is to get to John Connor, and that's his focus.
Yeah,
So if he can do it without killing people, he'll do it. But if he has to kill them, he will. So
the Termovision is what they called it. The Terminator's vision. It basically went over the different things: self-defense parameters set. Also, next priority is acquisition of suitable clothing.
Yeah. So like he has like literal priorities he's going through, and like if killing these guys isn't a priority, it's not going to be his focus. But he'll do it if he has to. Like we see, like because John later on has to literally order him not to shoot anybody or kill anybody.
Yeah.
So
not to mention when he's scanning coming up to the bar, he's scanning each and every vehicle, including the bikes, which he just happened to be the same bike that guy owned, but he made sure that bike is one that can take sufficient punishment if need be. Which it does.
Yeah.
As we all know.
So I have to look at my timestamps. All right. So I'm going to kind of like scoot.
Also, this is the only movie that that if you watch the original theatrical and not the 4K revamped version, the ladies, you get to see Robert Patrick's junk.
P100 probably weighs half a ton. Yeah, well, look at that endoskeleton.
Yeah, they weigh 600 pounds.
Yeah. So here's where we see the appearance of the T-1000.
Or 400 pounds.
And he comes through already. This must be his form, so he didn't feel a need to have to take the cop's form, just his clothes.
Yeah.
So because it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger came. He came through with living tissue already. So this is how the T-1000 looks, but can just mimic.
Oh, here's
other things that's similar to his size.
Well, if he is liquid metal, right?
Yeah.
Where's the living tissue?
That's actually. I'm glad somebody asked that because I can actually explain it. The special edition actually covers that. They say, or in these things that's covered by the production, the T-1000 has a living tissue mold that it was basically injected into and then sent through, in which it sloughs it off, kind of like just sheds the tissue to take a form afterward.
Well, there he is.
Yeah. I'd love to have it explained to me how liquid metal could mimic living tissue. That it's because it's put into a liquid metal mold or a living tissue mold.
Yes, he had a skin pod.
Yeah, essentially. I have or if Soul Assassin or any of the people are in the chat, look up my channel, how I would do a Terminator sequel. I actually cover how that was done and actually incorporate it into how the T-1000 would be sent back.
Yeah.
But this was in the movie itself or in the bonus material?
It's the special edition. This is known as the extended edition or the director's cut, but if you play the special edition to it, it shows or it has words on top and bottom of the screen that explains it.
I probably just saw the director's cut then.
Yeah, because
like that. Well, the only versions I had access to were the theatrical or the directors.
Yeah,
but like he comes through like this.
Yeah.
All right, so like he did not need to take the appearance of the cop, but we see here his first reaction is take him out. Because what better way to blend in and get weapons than as a cop?
Also, when he's looking back, he's actually looking at a few people that weren't supposed to be there. That got to see a naked Robert Patrick on a
Hey,
closed set.
I wouldn't complain.
No, the chicks that saw him didn't complain either.
Yeah. Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin, but the pumpkin's full of AKs. Yes,
Yep.
pretty much. Yeah, but like I wanted to just, like, basically show these, like, timestamps. So kind of like how the first one where we see first the T-800 appear, and then we see Kyle Reese appear. So it kind of follows that premise, but it flips it for this one, where we see the good one come first, and then we see the bad one come next.
It's the same way I appear at the grocery store every time I go there.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised?
I just walk in and punch the first one in the stomach. Keep walking.
There you go. It's normally an old woman.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to kind of talk about. All right, so before we go into the human characters, all right, so let's talk about the T-800 and T-1000. All right. So the T-800 has an endoskeleton, literal endoskeleton, and T-1000 is liquid metal. All right, so we know, like, we've seen Arnie's performance as a T-800s, and so what did you think of guys like Robert Patrick's as the T-1000s? Because he talks it's like, and he actually appears human because of how he delivers his lines. Like, the T-1000s, like, he's able to blend in better than the T-800 is.
Yeah, definitely.
I do
He
like
even,
how
he even
much.
has that reassuring smile when he's talking to foster parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The way that he's a little bit more sleeker with his interaction with humans, and he's able to understand using a cop is actually the best way to get his mission done.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, politics aside, pretty much, we're just going off of just general perceptions of police. But like police are one of the demographics that you would normally trust. So why would a cop lie? The assumption is the cop is looking for John Connor. John must have done something, because why would this cop be looking for him? Pretty much. So gives that false sense of security to the human characters, and that's what I appreciated, because again, just in Robert Patrick's delivery, he's he knows when to smile and things like that. He knows how to kind of blend in with humans, essentially enough so they don't catch on, pretty much, until essentially he literally finds John Connor. He's able to track down John Connor.
And when the foster parents say that a big guy on a bike was looking for him, he actually, when he reacts, essentially he's making a note to himself that another Terminator might be back in time, or that another Terminator might be present.
Mm-hmm.
He is basically making a note of it and moving on without betraying it.
Mm-hmm. Making a note, moving on. At the very least, yes, it might be another Terminator, but at the very, very absolute least, a hindrance or a complication, pretty much. But like you said, he just makes a note. Doesn't really react beyond sort of
No, I wouldn't worry about him.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about him, pretty much. And so we're taught that as children. Yeah. And Mr. Toxicity, T-1000 was more advanced that he picked up snarkiness. He's more advanced that he's kind of he's able to literally not just mimic in physical appearances, but mimic in human behavior. So he learns also, but as part of his programming to kind of camouflage better than the T-800s would be able to do. From the Terminator saying that they first tried this type of skin, didn't work because they stood out like a sore thumb. Then they found a way to actually grow living tissue, so they were able to blend in better, but dogs could sense if they were human or not. It's a far more intelligent AI. So,
and the thing is, see the dogs barking in the background when he's talking to the foster parents.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see the dog through the open back door.
Yep.
Yeah, which is like, again, don't like that in the movie, but that's just my nitpick.
Extended lore that they go over after the movies and whatnot was released. When they started getting into comics of the Terminator universe, the T-1000 is also the one unit that Skynet feared.
Mm-hmm.
Even after it made it, it's like, this thing could easily turn on me if it learns too much.
I especially love that the two Terminators never communicate with talk aside from the phone call. In person, they just know it's time to kill, and they revert to 100% to killing machines. Yes.
Yep.
That's it. Like, yeah, the only time is on the phone. And again, like, we'll go into that, and that's when the T-1000 is actually disguised as John Connor's foster mom, and that actress played Vasquez in Aliens. So we have another Aliens character, like actress from that movie, in this movie.
Toxicity comment, he killed the dog out of annoyance. It wasn't out of annoyance. He had to verify something because he didn't understand why the phone call was cut off.
Yeah. Which I
so
don't
when
like.
he goes to kill the...
Yeah.
They have a rule in Hollywood that's explained in the special edition. You're not allowed to kill animals on screen. They have to be killed off screen.
Like this is just me for people new in the chat. I understand that happens in movies and things like that. So, but I have a dog, and hearing a dog cry in pain, I'm like, nope. I just skipped through this part. I skipped through that part when I was watching this again. I can't deal with that. I don't like seeing it happen, like hearing it happen, even pretty much. But yeah, that was Vasquez. That is Vasquez. That actress in this movie playing his foster mom.
Vasquez got older.
Yeah.
And kinder.
When the T-1000 was playing
as well.
When the T-1000 was playing her, she was, because John Connor was like, she's never been this nice to me. She's never been this nice.
Something's wrong. She's never this nice. I'm making beef stew. What the fuck?
Yeah, like what?
Bitch,
like she's never done
I hate beef stew.
So I'm gonna go to my next timestamp. Here's where we're kind of getting into more of the human characters, and you all remember her. Hair longer in this one. Sorry, HBO likes to think for a long time. Sarah Connor. All right, so we're not going to go through this scene by scene necessarily, but she is now in a psychiatric ward. She got busted. Arrested, and put in a psych ward.
Which was a request by Linda Hamilton. She's like, I want to be crazy in this one.
And she plays crazy well.
That's because she is crazy.
Yeah. But if you think, she's right. She's right because she's telling people what's going to happen in the future, so she's not wrong. But the PTSD and her personality kind of makes her look like one of those weirdos on the streets with this the end is near signs sort of situation. That's the impression she gives to people. It's like, oh, okay, crazy lady. Yeah, sure. These these cyborgs from the future, these Terminators, things like that. And, one chased you down 10 years ago because it's supposed to take place 10 years after the events of the first movie, pretty much, or after the the first movie ended. So
11 years after the events of the first one, but 10. Her kid is only 10 because,
it's 10. It's the very end. Yeah, very end, when John Connor is born, because she's pregnant with him at the end of the first movie. But yeah, so it's and she has the crazy eyes too. So it's ugh.
But also, Linda Hamilton did go nuts later on in the late 90s.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you there. I'm just saying, based off her character, pretty much. She pulls off. Yeah. She pulls off.
I think.
Yeah, it's sure, sweetheart. Terminators are gonna coming from the future. Yeah, pretty much, sort of situation. 60 cc's of shit that'll knock her out, pretty much. And also to be fair to her, she's not tortured, but this is not the best hospital. Because you literally see in this scene her get whacked in the stomach with one of those batons, and then tased to get her to take a pill. So it's like I kind of understand that a little bit because I would be, a little crazy too if I was dealing with that.
Plus, the
On a
guy
rather
keeps
regular
basis.
beating her.
Yeah, why do you think he or she absolutely busts up that dude's face later on? It's
I
because
know,
this dude has been fucking her up for a while.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm saying like her craziness. I'm like I can understand it. I'm looking at like how not just everything that she dealt with from the first movie, but the fact that this is one of the worst hospitals staff wise, pretty much, given what she has to deal with. So I understand where she's coming from. And yes, that doctor fucked around and found out, pretty much.
And the orderly that hits her also, he didn't want to hit her, and she's fucking telling him, hit me. And so he wouldn't do it, so they had to speed up the frame when he hits her in order to make it look like it's very impactful. Mm-hmm. Because he couldn't do it. He's too nice of a guy.
I mean, yeah. Hey AJ, nah, that doesn't count. Jennifer Lawrence started it out all as a strong female character. Yeah, she started it all.
Yeah, she was the first woman in a nut house too.
I believe that.
Yeah.
So we find again, like I said, found basically out that she had been busted, trying to blow up.
Blowing up a computer factory factory.
Like trying to blow up a computer factory and so forth, and
which was a subsidiary of Cyberdyne.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Actor played Dr. Silverman.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's kind of a full-on asshole in this movie.
He wanted to make a career out of Reese. However, when he got his hands on Sarah, yeah.
So
he'll never let her go.
Because when you're reintroduced to him,
the TV show.
Yeah, because when you're reintroduced to Dr. Silverman, he's actually kind of giving these interns a tour, and in the tour, he's describing Sarah and how fascinating of a case she's been and everything, and how it gives you an idea of how long she's been in this hospital. She
repeated escape attempts, yada yada yada. Her delusions of persecution, violent behavior, acting out, whatnot.
Yeah, I know, creepy scientist guy. Yeah, from the fake Halo show. Yeah, mimic that. But anyway.
But yeah, he doesn't want to let her go. In fact, he actually, even if she does, or even if because she tries playing it up that she's reformed. However, even if she was truly reformed, he would never let her go.
Oh, I believe that. I see, again, I see where
she's his
where he's coming from in a sense where he's like, you're just telling me what I want to hear. So he's a pretty smart guy, and he gets it. That's exactly what she's doing. But at the same time, I agree with you, where it's if she were truly reformed, if she had mellowed out, if she had admitted that everything she was saying was utter fucking bullshit, he would not let her go. He would not let her go because she is one of the in his mind an ideal specimen, pretty much. So get him acclaimed in whatever
meal
psychiatric journal out there. Yeah, it's literally his meal ticket. So yeah, I'm saying he cares more about his career than actually treating her. He wants her to stay crazy. He wants her to stay crazy. So.
And with all the abuse going on, she'd stay crazy.
Yeah. So
because they'll never believe that.
Oh yeah, here's I just want to show here's real fast as I'm scrolling through. You can talk, but I'm scrolling through. You see the interaction. That's Vasquez there, chat. Yeah. See right there, just with longer hair.
Yeah.
But that's the actress who played Vasquez. So she didn't die in Alien. She lived and went to Earth and got married to this douchebag.
No, this is her ancestor.
Yeah, this is her ancestor. Yeah, this is Vasquez's ancestor, pretty much. But anyway, you hear the dog in the background. Yeah, so I just want to stop there.
That would have been better than the damn shit they did in the novel that they just released. Holy damn!
Okay.
Vasquez is destroyed.
Before I get to Sarah's
This
vision, yeah. Oh, what
this
were
is a
you gonna
better
say?
prequel to Vasquez than that novel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sieg showed me
But
like images. And I'm like, what?
but also what I was gonna say was, even if she had reformed, she'd still be getting abused by the orderlies. And even if she tried telling them, "Look, these guys are beating the shit out of me," they wouldn't believe her. Back in the 90s, they didn't give the insane people the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
They didn't trust them because, well, let's face it, a lot of them would try to abuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's basically groping and licking her whenever he straps her down.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Pretty much.
he's doing a lot more than that to other women in that place.
Mm-hmm.
He's a serious twisted pervert, that character.
Yeah. Well, they were
Dougie.
they were keeping her drugged. They were keeping her drugged pretty much. So
Yeah, the Thorazine, which gives her that little vision of Kyle later on. But also,
yeah,
there's Mr.
which I'm
Salute
gonna
Your
play.
Shorts.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, before we go into the vision again, like here's like we're introduced to the John Connor as a 10-year-old child, Edward Furlong, introducing Edward Furlong pretty much. Now,
This was his first movie.
So, and I love how this kid is supposed to be the savior of the human race decades later, because it says like he sends the T-800 back 35 years later, I think is the line, pretty much, which would make him about 45.
Yep.
And in this movie, he's a juvenile delinquent. Can't really entirely blame him because of the life that he's lived with his mother. Before he was put into foster care necessarily, so can't exactly entirely blame him. But at the same time, I'm looking at this kid going, "You're the one's going to lead humanity in the future." So, what did you like? What are your impressions of how they presented John Connor in this movie?
The T-1000 did a search query when he got in the police car. Trespassing, vandalism. This kid is he's a delinquent. This kid that's acting out. He's a delinquent that's acting out because, well, he wants his mom back. He loves his mom, but he also understands that she's psychotic. That's what he's been told all of his life. It's like, your fucking mom is a psycho, dude. You can't, or you acting out isn't going to help the situation. But he doesn't care. He's a 10-year-old boy. Now, Edward Furlong was more 11 to 12 in in the making of this film, which is what they fucked up with in D3. But he plays a 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's just this.
Most actors.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, Abomination, I guess you missed it, but I think the only version I've ever really seen is the director's cut, because I was watching it today in preparation for the stream, and I remember the visions. I remember the visions that happened. So when I'm watching this, going is there sure there's a theatrical cut? I'm watching this, and I'm like,
one of the visions are in the theatrical cut. I think the one with the nuke.
Yeah. That one.
I remember the first. I remember the first one too with Kyle. So I'm saying I was remembering a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I think the only version I've seen is the director's cut. I wonder if John
there was actually storyboards of an alternate scene of the first vision where they catch her as she's trying to escape or running away, and yet the Terminator would show up in the 84 gear, in the 84 look, and kill the orderlies, bring her outside to watch Judgment Day happen, and the blast wave would hit both her and him, and you would see the endoskeleton and her skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
That was what they planned on doing.
The nuke scene should have had Kyle in it, because Sarah's basically seeing her ideal life. So Kyle should have been in it, and gotten blown up with the kids and her.
Is she seeing her ideal life, or is she seeing humans like not aware of what's going to happen?
No, she's
I don't think she's
basically
seeing her ideal life. Her ideal life would be like a home with Kyle and like their son. That would be her ideal life, not some random strangers in a park with kids.
Yeah, but
I'm guessing she was seeing herself before she got caught with him. She was still a waitress, but she also still had a younger John. She accepted Kyle's death, but yeah.
Let's see, like here's the vision. I'm gonna kind of play the vision. Here's the first one. Okay, I'm gonna skip her like talking to Kyle and everything. All right, because she's chasing after him. He's kind of leading her down this hall, and she's chasing after him. And so she's like seeing him. So she's running after him, and she comes out these doors. And it's through this park.
And the reason why they cut this out of the theatrical is because it made her look too vulnerable early on in the film.
Which I'm like...
And
I like this.
Go ahead.
I like
too.
this. Yeah. Yeah, it makes her vulnerable because but she's human. She's human, so it's like... All right, I'm going to tell my siblings to stop fucking texting me!
This is what the ending should have been. After they think they've defeated Skynet and stuff, then this happens at the end. That would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I love how you hear the noise of the kids and everything. Yeah, I love how you hear that, like it's like inaudible dialogue. Like she's trying to shout, but you hear the noise of the kids. You hear them like the people and everything, like people like playing in the playground, but you don't hear her.
Yeah,
you don't hear her. And I love how they did that because it's like, again, it's like she's trying to warn humanity and no one is listening.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It's purely symbolic, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's greatly done.
So she has the vision again later on, but this first one, it cuts right when the blast happens. Then you see like the vision again, and you actually see the blast.
Yep.
So, but anyway, so I'm going to kind of skip. I guess I'm skipping parts because we want to talk about like another character that comes into play. I'm going to try to get to.
Also, it's speculated that one of the girls that the Team 1000 asks about the Galleria is Kate Brewster.
Oh, yeah. So, we'll get to that part. But here's like another character that I wanted to, because I'm going to cover like basically the main human characters. And here we see the architect, or the initial architect of Skynet, and that is Miles Dyson. So...
Miles Bennett Dyson.
Again, yeah. So again, like what are your, I guess, overall impressions of this character? Because my overall impression of this character is the quote: "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." Because in his mind, he was going to use this technology to help humanity, sort of a situation. So he's not one of those evil scientists that are like, oh, like what can I do for my own personal interests. He's actually thinking about humanity when he's trying to harness this future tech.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's a superb character played by a great actor, to be honest.
Joe Morton.
Yeah, he does not get enough credit, well, any credit for this role, really.
I mean, this is a guy that it actually explains in a scene that's in the special edition where he brings the neural net home, where he talks with his wife. Imagine being on a plane and the pilot doesn't have a hangover. He's not late for work. He's not going to fall asleep or anything like that. Meet the pilot. He's thinking about the application on a civilian level, where according to what happens from the Terminator's story, the military gets their hands on Skynet,
Yes.
and they want it to have military application. He's thinking purely, I want this to help humanity. And I'm willing to bet if they had expanded the story, he would have protested against the military's interest.
Yeah. He definitely comes across as like that kind of character in how the actor portrayed him. Like I said, he's not harnessing this tech for his like own personal interest or anything that could even remotely construed as anything that could cause any like potential wars or anything like that. He's looking at for the benefit of civilians, as you put it, like a plane that pilots itself, maybe buses that drive themselves, things like that. He's looking at that from that perspective. As far as
truly benevolent.
Yes, yeah. So, and I'm going to get to this part because I'm going to pose a question to the chat because there's something that happens later on in the movie. A line is dropped, a scenario happens, and I want to kind of pose a question to the chat. One of those moral questions, pretty much. All right, because that's what this movie does. This does have underlying moral questions, without like literally asking them to the audience, poses them in dialogue and scenarios, and you as the audience have to think: would you do this same thing if you're put in the same situation? Like actually, like watch this movie. It poses those questions without hitting you over the head with any basically, this is the message we're sending you. This is the message we're sending you. No, like you just listen to the dialogue, watch the scenarios, and there's a question in there. There's a question in there. But I guess I think it was Stieg. Anything more about Dyson's character? Because he comes into play later. Again, he's muted. So I don't know if he's away from his computer or not. I'll ask him later. So, but again, I don't think it's like too much more we can say about this character other than like what we've already said, because he's not a bad guy. But again, it goes into the quotes I gave where the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Basically, the road to the apocalypse is paved with these good intentions right here, pretty much.
Would you use the Terminator hand to fist a bitch? Fucking stunning Megatron.
Yes. I mean, would you Megatron? That's a question I posed to you. So I'm gonna go
Jesus
to my.
Christ.
Okay, again, I'm not gonna exactly play the entire scenes or anything like that, but here's the scenario. It didn't exactly hit where I wanted it to hit. Hold on. Let me just go back 15 seconds, see if we see it. So, like from questioning the foster parents to questioning particularly young kids, because he's like figure, hey, a young kid hanging out in this area is most likely going to be interacting with other young kids, pretty much. So he's asking, have you seen, do you know this kid? Have you seen this kid? Because he got a picture which we didn't show from the foster parents. And I love how the foster mom didn't bother to ask, why do you need a picture? I mean, wouldn't you think well, you have him his records, wouldn't you already know, or sort of situation, or at the very least, because he's coming asking about their foster child, and if he's been in the system and if they're looking for him, then maybe he would at least have some idea what he looks like.
Juvenile sealed accounts.
So, well, he asked for a pic, but at the same time,
it's
at the same time, if I were the foster mom, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to give you a picture because unless you tell me why exactly you're looking for him, sort of situation. Because the foster dad is a douchebag, but to his credit, he asked, why are you asking? He's asking the cop, why are you looking for him? Are you going to tell me why?
What's he done now?
What's he done now? He's asking the question that the mom should have asked, pretty much. What's he done now? And they didn't even ask for verification. Hey, they got a badge or anything like that, or another, not just a badge, because anybody could buy a badge.
Is non-threatening.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
This
I don't know.
is
We're
back
taught now.
when cops were more trustworthy.
We're asking verification. So, He just wants to ask him a few questions.
I mean, nowadays, I'd totally ask for verification. Nowadays, I would basically give the cop the runaround. It's like, I'm sorry, but I know my rights, and I'm not gonna let you fucking violate them. But back then, this is the mid '90s in the movie. Cops were trusted. Cops were people that you didn't suspect. It's the perfect cover. Also, in this scene, the person who points out John is actually part of the production as well.
So,
one, he's like, yeah, he's right over there. Yeah, that's part of that guy is actually in his 20s.
And so, the Team 1000 can, coincidentally ask, like, hey, John Connor's trying to be this guy, and the friend is like, nah, don't know him. Things like that.
Which
it's like
literally bought him like a couple more minutes.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of play a little bit. See, do you know that guy? Like, no, don't know him. Walks over to John, or like kind of semi runs over, like, hey, cops looking for you, pretty much. Why is sound? That's be muted. Yeah. See, right there, and there's he's right over there. There's the snitch. The snitch right there. It's like, yeah, he's right over there.
Motherfucker, you almost killed the world.
Yes, pretty much. The friend is a homie, and this guy's a snitch. Pretty much. Yeah, he's right over there.
That fucking snitch. Damn narc ratted John out. But yeah, notice how as soon as he zeroes in on John, all pretense is out the window.
Yeah, I'm gonna play. It's like, it's like now he's like pushing people aside. Boom, boom. Now he's zeroed in on his target. Funk. Boom.
He's shoving kids out of the way. He's like, get the fuck out of the way. I don't care.
Yeets kids out of the way. Like, move, bitch, get out the way. Pretty much, just yeets the kids.
The friend is a bit of an idiot, though, because he could have just told the T-1000 that, John left 5 minutes ago.
So, yeah, but he was yeeting kids. I'll play it again.
A lot of people say that. It's like, why didn't you just do that instead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. But I'm going to play this scene again because I just love how, it's like, guy, oh, yeah, he's right over there. Like, just go.
Yeah, there he is. Frodo Baggins.
One guy, boom. Okay, boom. Girl, boom. This guy, he yeets out of the way. I know it is kind of fun to push kids around. But I want to play. Hold on.
Zengilish or Zengili or in the chat or however you say that name. Yeah, fuck them kids.
Yeah. But I want to kind of play this scene a little bit because this is another famous scene, which I didn't show. Like, we saw seeing the T-800 a bit earlier carrying as a box of roses. So he's coming.
I love that box.
Yeah. So John is being chased by the T-1000. The T-800 is walking from the opposite direction. Now, John probably knows at this point. We can gather based on his reaction to seeing the T-800 that his mom has most likely described this thing to him enough times that he's like, "Oh shit!" Like, he's recognizing this. He doesn't run past the T-800. He bolts back the other way, or he tries to bolt back the other way. So it tells me, without again exposition, that he understands what a T-800 looks like from most likely what his mom told him. Well, I don't know if there were pictures. I don't know if there exactly were pictures, but at least from his mother's descriptions, I would say. So he recognizes this is.
It will most likely come at you with sunglasses. It will have a weapon. Yeah. Stay the fuck away from it.
Yeah. So he's coming through. There's the roses. And what does he pull out? Boom.
I mean, if you saw a person pulling out a shotgun, wouldn't you run the other way?
Yeah, I'm saying like he sees this look. Yeah, Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I love that.
You're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Which he was actually, I believe, listening to Guns N' Roses earlier.
Yeah. So he tries to go back. And here comes the T-1000 around the corner. And he goes, "Get down." Boom. Okay, and then you see, oh,
Get down.
I love how, like, you see this right here. I love, like, just for a second you see, like, the metal. Before it's actually described what that type of metal is on the T-1000, like, the size of the hole that was blasted through him. Now it kind of warped around the bullet. Almost.
Also tells you what kind, or most likely what kind of ammo it is in that shotgun.
Yeah, it's slugs.
Mm-hmm. And I love how
it's buckshot.
T-800 tells him to get down, and this guy, the poor schmuck who worked at this like Galleria, stands up in front of
and like, best kill in the movie though.
Yeah.
And
I love the T-1000
also
just keeps shooting pretty much. Like, doesn't care.
Yeah, the Beretta does not make a silencer sound when it's shooting. For people in the audience.
No.
That's not the sound the gun really makes.
I'm looking for John Connor. He's an old friend of mine. I was told he was here. May I see him, please? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like dropping a marble into water, bowls around the marble like that. Yeah. So
they called it the tinfoil flowers is what they called it in the production.
So when
because it does kind of look like a flower. Them. Yeah, there you go.
So John, you can tell it's a stunt guy on the motorcycle, but I love how John gets away. After the T-800 basically shielded him from the T-1000, John gets away on a bike. And I love how, I'm not sure exactly how this shot was done, but it shows you like the speed of the T-1000 that he's able to keep up for the most part on foot. Or at least initially.
Now there is the scene where he threw him, or where they engage each other, the Terminators. The guy taking the picture is the cop 1L19 from T1.
Huh, okay, cool.
Same actor.
Yeah, because I'm skipping over parts, but yeah, there's for those in the chat, it's like he's talking about the when Schwarzenegger, like when the T-800 is like tossed through the glass, and you see this guy with the camera, just like, and you hear this like click, 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 like rapid shot clicks.
Yep. Ka-choo.
Yeah, T-1000 pulls this guy, and the truck's still moving. I love how the shot was done. He just pulls this guy out of his truck. I want to see if I can get a shot of the truck, front of the truck.
Go back a little bit to where.
No, hold on. Here.
When he rounded the corner. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
This truck right here had a cameo in the first one, but it's a toy version.
Yeah, and it's the same writing on the side.
Yep.
That's the crazy thing about it.
So this is a callback, chat, to the first one. This truck, same writing, same color, just it was a toy version in the first movie.
Yeah.
You're not beaten over the head with with the member berries or anything like that. Like, you remember this? No, it's just a callback.
Yeah.
It's just a callback. But this is like I wrote when I was writing down timestamps, like famous truck chase, pretty much. Is this? I would argue, like, if you describe chase scenes, this would be up there for most people from action movies. Is the T-1000 chasing down John Connor? John Connor's on his old dirt bike, and this T-1000 is chasing him down in this truck. Then you have the T-800 on his motorcycle chasing down the T-1000 that's chasing down John Connor, pretty much.
And that's the one thing I do like about Terminators. When they go target acquired, they do not care about the atmosphere around them or the situation around them. They don't, or the scene where T-800, Uncle Bob, we'll just call him Uncle Bob, when he spots John Connor off the bridge, he causes an accident.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And same here. It's
I see the T-1000 chasing him down.
yeah.
Because he's causing accidents too. He's literally hitting cars, but his target is acquired, and that's his. That is his mission.
It's laser focus. They completely abandon all context.
Yeah, like same thing with the T-800. There, he also cars swerved to miss him. Now he wasn't running into them, but cars swerved to miss him, causing accidents. But his focus is on, I have to get this T1. I have to get to this T-1000 to get him off of John Connor's sense, so I can protect John Connor. Literal laser focus.
Yep. Or Agi in the chat. Fun fact: Arnold Schwarzenegger told James Cameron that he wanted to grab and toss T-1000 around. Cameron told him, "No, you can't. Too heavy, too dense. He's stronger than you," and that is true.
Yeah. You can tell that's a stunt guy. I love the shots that he tell that's a stunt guy. He doesn't look remotely like Edward Furlong.
No. Now I wonder in this version on HBO Max, do they do the 4K version, because they actually corrected the scene where when the truck goes over the bridge or off the bridge and into the spillway, the windows come off as it's coming down, where then the windows are back up. And I'm wondering if they actually did that or correct that for this.
I mean, I know I just watched this, but he's going down, basically thinking oh, this truck couldn't possibly follow, you want to follow me down here. Nope. Watch what happens.
My question is, how the frick did that truck get on that street above him so fast?
I love this shot. Just boom.
Yeah, because right here.
Yeah,
boom,
and they were out.
Yep,
they were back in because there's a scene where the T-1000 punches out the windows because they're broken.
Yeah. In the 4K or in the new 4K editions that they have now, they've corrected that, and they also did improved facial replacement with the stunt rider and Arnold.
Mm-hmm. Another fun fact: Robert Patrick said on the first take when he ran after John Connor, he caught the kid. It's oops.
Yep, he did, because he was a runner.
Yeah, I'm saying looking at Robert Patrick, you could tell that he's a runner because he has a better Flash run than the current Flash actor that we have, Ezra Miller, pretty much. That's a Flash.
Oh, damn right.
That's a Flash run right there.
Well, Ezra Miller runs after kids too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I just love that look by John. It's oh, fuck, I gotta get out of here.
Yes. So I'm trying to get to the scenes with 800, the Schwarzenegger, like you said, where so the windows are back in, folks. Yeah, so this is not so.
Yeah,
I wish I could play this with sound, but I can't.
Yeah. Hey, Demongenai, good to see you.
He's, hey, Demongenai. So
the shotguns, what do you call that? The grip thing that I'm freaking blanking on what it's called. And I usually know what it's. Yeah, the lever. They actually had to swap out the lever with the customized wider one, so he can actually or wheel cock it.
Mm-hmm.
Is what they call wheel cocking.
But this scene is kind of long. I'm trying to get to where T-800 catches up to them.
Right here.
This shot right here.
Yeah.
Again, you can tell it's a stunt guy.
It was Elon Musk.
Yeah.
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 We see the tops off the truck because, again, doesn't care if there's a low bridge or not. I'm after my targets. So the T-800 gets around him. I love this shot right here. And then just pulls him off the dirt bike.
And if you paid close attention, folks, you could tell which is a fake screen and which is not.
Yeah. I just love the shot here. Boom.
And you can see the dummy T-1000 there. Now, when this sparks and the explosion happens, you'll see a whiff or a glitch on the cam for the up-close explosion. That's actually the shockwave hitting the camera.
I believe it. Winchester, 1887. Yes.
Yeah.
And like, if I were to continue the shot, like they sit there and watch to make sure like the T-1000 doesn't come out, and they think he's coming out, but it's like a burning wheel that comes out, so they leave, and you see that the T-1000 is very much still alive. I love that. So, love that shot. And so, like, again, kind of talking about the T-1000, we find out how he's able to essentially heal and so forth. And that his skeletal structure is liquid metal. So, what, like, I guess, like, what did you guys think of that as a step up from the endoskeleton for the T-800 series? In terms of, like, not just technology, but for the story.
I like the classic Terminator better.
Mm-hmm.
Has more durability because if you go strictly liquid, there's a chance that you can damage it beyond repair, which they explore later on in this film.
Yeah.
Also in the Genesis film as well. There's basically two methods, melt it or melt it. You just got to figure out which method you want to use to melt it with.
Mm-hmm. Which is, like, again, what we
molten...
see. There's also the cryogenic elements in that scene. Because he's liquid metal. So.
Yep. Which explains the glitch later on. But I do understand.
Made it use its liquid form in the Sarah TV show.
But I also do understand how this would be a step up in a way, because this thing is self-healing, so it makes it a natural progression.
Yeah, it's a bit harder to kill something that can heal itself. Whereas with I understand the durability and like the endoskeleton for the T-800, and I prefer that over this one as well. But at the same time, it's like you keep doing damage to that endoskeleton, as you see in the future war scenes, where like the T-800, the endoskeletons was lying on the ground, and the soldier like stands over and just shoots it.
Also, a Barrett 50 cal can terminate a Terminator or a T-800. Shoot a T-1000 with a Barrett 50 cal, you'll put a big hole in it, sure, but it's going to heal.
Yeah. So, all right. Not going to go through, like I said, not going to go through this movie, like, scene by scene or anything like that. I just want to cover, like, big parts of this movie, pretty much. But I'm going to skip a big chunk. Because Sarah is making her escape. I love how she beats down the guard that,
licked her face and whatnot, and abused her and whatnot.
Yeah, because she escaped. She was like basically playing. Like I'll show here how the T-800.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hides in the floor. Where I missed it.
T-1000, and the guy that they used for that kill is an actual twin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're in.
Yeah, I think
Gremlins
he's been
2.
in like other. He's been in other movies.
Yep, Gremlins 2 and other and a couple.
Yeah,
others.
so I said we could cover that if we do Gremlins 1 and 2, because they're in that as like literally twins. He's not just like playing like one. Like,
both of them are in it.
So I just want to play this. So it's this poor schmuck just wants his coffee. And I love how
He got a
it,
full
it looks like
house.
the T-1000 had left, but he's actually morphed into the floor.
And people ask, well, how can, or anything it samples by physical contact it can mimic? Well, how can it mimic him? He stepped on it.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, but I want to skip a little bit more to get Sarah's reaction to seeing the T-800. This is after the T-800's been given orders not to kill, and he shoots the security guard outside in the kneecaps, and he goes, "He'll live."
Yep.
I love that.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I just told you, God damn it. He'll live.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll live. Okay. I'm going to play this. She's going to escape. Elevator door opens. And who steps out?
It's like, oh, fuck. God damn it, I thought I could have been crazy for at least a little bit while, but then this shit has to happen.
Yeah. So John Connor has to chase her down.
Now, a lot of people asked me one time, why didn't she immediately, or she hear her son? Well, PTSD,
shock, yeah.
She just saw the nightmare that she had survived 11 years prior. Nothing else is in her mind except getting away.
Yeah. Yeah.
She would have ran over her own kid if he was ahead of her.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't have saw him.
So boom.
She didn't even see him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm saying, again,
that's her.
PTSD's coming into play, and tunnel vision.
Yeah, so that's her trying to get away even further. It's like, get me the fuck out of here, get me away, get me away. That is her only instinct right now.
Yeah,
getting away.
Playing in her head for a while, pretty much. Like, what if he came back?
Well, no.
Stream was unavailable. I knew it. Stream was unavailable. Policy violations.
They fucking pulled it, you pricks.
No sound whatsoever. I'm playing it and stopping it, playing it and stopping it. Let's see if it comes back.
Son of a bitch. I knew they would do that eventually.
Let's see if it comes back.
It's like, do you guys want us to freaking promote your movie? We love this movie.
There's been no sounds, though.
Yeah, no sound.
Fucking assholes.
Maybe someone reported it.
No, they usually catch on pretty quick. Or, I mean, it took them
we're back.
Almost 2 hours.
We are back.
We're back?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We are back, folks. Apparently, I can't play a scene without sounds. How? And I'm not even playing the whole fucking movie, so how are they going to fucking copyright abuse this shit?
I mean, here's the thing. TriStar, Sony, whoever's in charge of this movie, HBO Max and whatnot, you'd think you would want some good publicity considering the shit you guys do.
Yeah.
We're giving you good publicity here.
I know. And again, I'm not playing
literally
sound.
Said where to stream it too.
Yeah. And I'm not playing sound, so there's no way anybody could download this stream, pull the just the movie part of it and sell it to make money, or anything like that. There's no fucking way. So I'm not even playing the whole movie. I'm not even playing sound. And we're literally praising your fucking film that's on your streaming service.
Yeah. I mean, folks, what else do you want us to do? Or it's like, come on now. You get to give these bigger freaking Joe Blow movies and freaking Screen Rant and all them. They get to fucking play clips. They get to fucking monetize and all that shit. Yet we do this. and we get our freaking streams pulled.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of like if you complain about a bad movie without even showing clips, you're a toxic man baby, and you're trying to destroy it. If you're promoting something, you get the stream taken down. So
I don't have enough. I don't have enough subs, people following me on Rumble to be able to do a live stream. So
It'll
if
mirror thereafter.
if I get enough subs, I can do a live stream, which I would like to do, just in case anything like this happens again. Stream like policy violations. What policy? They don't tell me.
Copyright strike or whatever. Basically, what we got to do when we do these kind of streams, put in the description, we don't own the rights. However, we are using this under fair use.
Yes. Which YouTube basically lets people abuse their copyright system because they don't understand the concept of fair use, or nor do they care. It says right here, due to copyright match, your stream was interrupted. Streams are interrupted when copyrighted content is detected. How is it being detected when I'm not even playing any sound?
Certain scenes will do it, because I did a trailer reaction. Like only 12 seconds of the trailer is where they said, "This is what caused this, or this is what caused your video to be demonetized." I'm like, well, good thing I'm not even monetized, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but anyway, again, we were talking about like basically her reaction, and that is like PTSD, tunnel vision, and everything. Like she doesn't even hear her son. She doesn't even see the interns or whatever you like to call these guys. Basically, she didn't even see the guy until he tackled
Orderlies.
Orderlies. She didn't even see him until he tackled her, or anything like that. Like, and again, she's in. And at the same time, they're focused on her, and they're not even noticing him coming.
Yep. And she keeps on saying, "He'll kill us all."
Yeah. But again, like we the audience knows that like John's giving the orders not to kill, so he just basically. I wish I could play the scene, but he basically just beats them up.
He incapacitates them. He tosses one dude into the window, another dude through a door window, and the woman smacks him with the
guard smacks him, and all he does is just pushes her in the face.
Looks at her because it's like, "You fucked up my glasses, bitch."
Yeah.
Just shoves her.
Yeah.
Which you don't see her she slides all the way back to that freaking barred door that the T-1000 comes through, but she's no longer there after. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Again, I wish I could play it so you guys can see it, because I wanted to show the T-1000 walking through the bars.
Yeah.
Which is another advantage to the liquid metal, pretty much, because that's not a hindrance to him.
And then at that point, Earl Bowen started singing in his head, "I'm a believer."
Pretty much.
It's like, oh shit, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah, pretty much.
This bitch isn't crazy.
Yeah, I love Silverman's look. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, he has the needle cover or the syringe cover in his lip, and it drops off when he pops or when he slides through the door.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah.
And he chalks it up. Or there was actually a scene that was envisioned where when the T-1000 is returning to Pescadero after the failed chase, they see Silverman being carted off in a straitjacket. They wanted to incorporate that. They wanted to incorporate that, but they didn't. And it's like, fuck. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I need to pop off now because it's 4 a.m.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try to get through the next parts, but thank you for your time, because sorry about
it's simply getting very late.
Yeah.
Or early.
And I'm on fumes.
All right. Take it easy, Stig. Good seeing you, bub.
Take care and be well, both of you, and happy streaming.
Yeah.
All right. I just checked my tweets. Thank you. Thank you, Bosa. All right, so I'm just gonna skip through so we can get through to near the end. Pretty much is where I want to pose the question to the chat. So we'll skip the scene with Enrique, even though I would have liked to have talked about it, but I did kind of bring it up where Sarah is noticing how basically more human the Terminator is becoming and more of like a father figure to John.
Also, before we do, but let's go over the one time problem that they have.
Okay,
When the Terminator does tell the story, while she's getting close to that scene, the Terminator tells a story about Skynet and Dyson and whatnot. In 3 years, Skynet becomes the biggest thing to the U.S. Well, this movie takes place in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
August 29th, 1997 is in 2 years from that point. And in 3 years, Cyberdyne System becomes the biggest computer systems worldwide. In 1998. How does that happen, folks? That is one of the biggest errors in this film.
Yeah. Now, that's what I'm saying. I was thinking about the dates they were giving, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. It should be this year if it's 3 years later. It could be 1997. But
yeah, him as a or Eddie Furlong as a 9-year-old, he wouldn't be able to do it. That would be too big of a stretch because he was going through a growth spurt in this movie.
Yeah. So, like he passes for 10, but not for 9.
Yeah.
So. And
I love this scene too because they also used her twin sister in this scene.
No, like 3 years after when these events are supposed to be taking place, which is 1995, which would make it 1998, not 1997.
Yeah.
So it would have to be, if it would still be 1997, these events would have to be taking place 1994. But then John Connor would be 9. So
don't give me any shit, Trey.
It doesn't exactly match up.
Yeah.
But this, I want to talk about this part as well, and where Sarah almost destroyed the T-800 CPU. Yeah. Yep.
Because she's thinking purely about survival. She still can't fully understand that this thing is on their side. And she actually does give a valid concern. If something goes wrong, this could be our best chance. Or we won't get another chance like this again. Mm-hmm. So move. Well, then John fires back at her. If I'm supposed to be this great military leader, maybe you should listen to my leadership ideas once in a while.
And I was like, he got you there. I mean, she's basically been teaching him his whole life up until this point, preparing him because he's going to be the leader of humanity. He's going to be the savior of humanity, a great military leader.
Yep.
All right? So he's got her there. It's like, okay, you're telling me all this. You're telling me all this shit from the time I was born to now, pretty much. So if I'm going to be this great military leader, then how about you start listening to me? Because if my mom won't even do it, who is?
Yep. And even the Terminator acknowledges that something may have been wrong because the first thing he asks, is there a problem? And you also see time elapsed 1 minute, 12 seconds.
Yeah.
He realizes something happened that it would have taken less than a minute to switch or to flip that switch.
Yeah. I didn't realize they used Linda Hamilton's twin in that scene.
Yep. The mirror is actually not a mirror when they're doing that whole scene. It's the dummy it's the dummy whose back is to you, and he's on the other side with with Linda's sister and Eddie's stunt double.
Yeah. So again, like, you understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, you also get where John's coming from because he's telling her, if my own mother won't even listen to me, how am I going to get everyone else to listen to me?
Yep.
How am I going to get everyone else to trust me if my own mom won't even do so?
And she almost smashed that fucker when she did smash down.
Yeah.
She missed it like by an inch.
And it's like you see her bringing the mallet down, and you're like, oh shit, she's actually going to do it, but she hits next to it. So she still has that frustration, but she's like, damn it. But she doesn't do it.
And she's like, fine, we'll play it your way.
Because they're not doing so hot on their own. pretty much, even with the T-800. So how does she think they'll fare without it?
Which is why they want to go to Sauceda's encampment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is I'm going to kind of skip over when they go to Enrique, but they do go to see a friend of hers, Enrique, and that's where you find out from John how she's shacked up with like multiple guys who could teach her anything and everything to help prepare him to be a great military leader. So like weapons. One guy taught him engines. He said things like that. He's going through the scenario with the T-800 and as they're collecting weapons and everything. And how she's also, the gears are turning in her head. You see her thinking.
I want to know everything. What he looks like, where he lives, everything.
Yeah.
And because those gears are turning. Also, during those scenes, we get the horse smile.
Oh yeah, I wish I could show that scene where he's like trying to teach the Terminator how to smile.
You gotta laugh once in a while, or you gotta smile once in a while, man.
Yeah.
And so he looks at this dude that kind of almost looks like Bill Paxton, but isn't. And he literally maps the facial mapping of the guy's mouth area. And then he starts smiling. And I'm like, oh my God, that is horrible. Turn it off. Sarah slowly accepts T-800 through. In an insane world, it's the sanest choice. Which is also in the movie.
Yeah. So, but I want to get to again, I'm going to skip Enrique's scene. It's a little long, but the same, you get a lot from it. So you do get a lot from it. And here's the second vision. You'll see that on my screen without playing it, where you actually see the nuclear, not only see the nuclear blast, see the people dying, even see her burning in the blast as part of the vision.
Which is a great freaking puppet of her too. It looks real.
Come on, stream. I want to get to her outside of Dyson's house.
And in the director's cut, Miles Dyson has 2 children, not just one.
Yeah.
He has
you
a
see
boy
his daughter
and a girl.
in the beginning.
Yep.
But she's outside Dyson's house. And like I said, I'm skipping over parts because we can't exactly... Let's get a little after 10, so we can't exactly go through scene by scene because this is a long movie, essentially.
Well, this is the question that you want to raise, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. All right. Because the Terminator brings us up. If she kills Dyson, it might prevent the war. All right? Mm-hmm. If she kills Dyson, it might prevent the war. So my moral question to the chat is, would you do the same thing? Would you do the same thing?
Killing Dyson might prevent the war. I don't care. Haven't you learned anything yet? Haven't you learned why we can't kill people? I love the look the Terminator gives him. He's like, whatever.
yeah, pretty much.
But
would you do the same thing? So Trey saying no, Abomination saying no, Steven saying no, Chicklot saying no for sure.
Miles Dyson gives a whole new meaning to the nuclear family.
Yes, pretty much. T1000 Sarah Connor, you believe your son is safe? I will find him. Abomination says convincing him to stop is the same outcome, which they kind of essentially do. No persuading them on their side is the right call. Okay, especially if it's a might. That's the thing. Especially if it's a might. Because think about this, chat. The reason why I'm posing this, all right, this is a moral question. The reason why I'm posing this is, what if she had killed him? All right, he is the initial architect of Skynet. What if she had killed him? All right, he's not there to work on his work, right? So you would think no Skynet. But again, what if someone picked up his work?
Skynet, or here's the running theory on me, or in my theory.
Mm-hmm.
Say she succeeded in killing him.
Yeah.
The military takes over, or the military recognizes that he was killed because of his work. His work was at the house. And he was murdered there. Mm-hmm. Most likely, this was a hit by a foreign nation. Or they could even spin it that way. And therefore, we need to rush this into, or we need to take over development, and we need the best minds to do it. Skynet goes active a little sooner than August 29th. Chances are killing him may prevent the war, or killing him may actually speed up the war.
Yeah. So like that, I love how that's like a moral question that's like posed without even asking it.
John Connor, in this case, has the better tactic. Talking to him, explaining to him what goes on. And he says, there's no way I'm finishing this processor. That's not good enough. No one must follow your work.
Yes. And like the only way to do that, they realize, is so no one else can pick it up. He has to destroy everything.
Now, here's the other thing that they could have done, which was an alternative that also has multiple potential outcomes. Bring the damn Terminator in. Show them this is, or have him explain what happens if this thing goes live. They could have done that. However, Sarah Connor wouldn't or couldn't be the one to do that. But the Terminator could also make a plea for her exoneration. It's like, she did all this because she fears what would happen, while I'm justification as to her fears. They could have possibly even done that. However, in a what if scenario like Marvel loves to do, there is that possibility. I might actually go through that. To be completely honest, I might actually do that for my channel. A what if scenario.
Because like at the same time, I mean, like whenever philosophical questions are posed, like to people, like, would you go back in time and kill Hitler? Like, say for example, pretty much, would you go back in time and kill Hitler? I'd say I would hazard to guess that most people would, because of what we know that the man was capable of and did. But then I would posit to them who would say yes is, what if someone worse takes his place? You end one. What if someone worse steps in? Or what if killing him causes such a schism in the timeline, the butterfly effect, that it completely alters the future? Not just like a little bit because you killed one of the worst dictators in history, but completely alters the future. And Stalin was worse.
Watch the movie Time Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they say say you can't go back. You can't go back and kill Hitler as much as we'd like to, because it could have consequences that can make things worse or even destroy humanity as we know it.
Yeah.
It could have unforeseen consequences. You can't predict what's going to happen, even if you think it might be the better option.
Yeah, and killing them could even cause the Nazis to win.
Exactly.
I'm saying. And Soul Assassin thinks saying you'll do it is different than when you're standing in front of a baby Hitler with a weapon. Like, could you actually do it? And so did.
I mean,
actually,
Deadpool.
If you were really in that scenario, would you actually kill a child?
I mean, Deadpool, or at the end of Deadpool 2, he's literally about to choke out Hitler or baby Hitler. Yeah. And then he's
Deadpool.
And then he fucking just changes his diaper instead.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't fucking do it.
Yeah, can't do it.
You're literally going to kill innocence if you try going back in time to kill a baby. That's innocence.
Yes.
What does that say about you?
I love how this moral question scenario was posed a little bit without beating you over the head with it.
Yeah. And I love how Dyson even asked him, how you're judging me for things I haven't even done yet. How are we supposed to know? Well, that is also a good question. Of course, Sarah Connor goes into the whole feminazi rebound. It's like, fucking men like you built the hydrogen bomb. Men like you thought it up. You think you're so creative. You don't know what it's really meant to create something, to create a life. And John's like, "Oh my god, shut her up."
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Ma, shut up.
Like, we have this guy in our corner, Mom. Shut the fuck up.
I know. And freaking even his wife is looking at her like, really, that's not fair. But she also says another good line too. Aren't we changing things right now, changing the way it goes? Technically, yes, you have changed things.
Yeah, technically, yes, you have changed things because now the guy who thought that he was creating something for good that ultimately turns evil is now and has realized that and realizes it's like he can't just say, I'm not going to touch this because it could be literally picked up by someone else.
Yep.
So he's realizing I have to destroy everything I've worked on in regards to this project.
This has to be an absolute end. It cannot have any sort of potential for counterpoint.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So while while she says, yes, we're changing the way it goes. However, even the T-1000 or the T-1000 is your heaviest counterpoint. The T-1000 can could stop him from destroying everything. However, he's not been seen because right at that point, he's actually at Enrique's farm killing Enrique, which was a scene that was explained in storyboards where Enrique gets pinned to a truck with the finger spikes, and he ends up shoving a grenade down the T-1000's throat, which blows the thing's head off, but also kills him. So yeah, Enrique dying was pretty, or he died originally in the story, which was badass.
Mm-hmm.
But counterpoints
says,
are
Dyson even plans to use it for specific purposes. Basically, he's benevolent in at least in his motivation. So he doesn't tend to use it to kill people. Punishing Dyson is actually the same as suing gun manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and also when the T-800 is laying it all down, you can catch some of the stuff he's saying. Nuclear winter causes massive cooling. And
I'm not highlighting that comment, Oz. I'm not highlighting that comment. Sorry.
Oh my god, poor.
But yeah, I believe you brought this up as well. Like, Skyline feared the T-1000, even though it created the T-1000, it actually feared it.
It's because the T-1000 has a greater capacity of learning than the T-800 with a preset switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I wish I could play the end scene without risking my stream being taken down again. But like the end, so we can kind of like start wrapping it up a little bit. I love the end parts. So,
which end part exactly? The assault on Cyberdyne, or which reminds me.
Oh, the actual end fight between the two Terminators.
Oh yeah, because
the assault on Cyberdyne is good. It's very good, but like where it gets very, I guess, moving essentially is when the Terminators are fighting.
This is during when they're escaping Cyberdyne. This is an example of the improved Terminator vision. Reading the bottom text, priority override multiple targets, threat assessment, potential damage. So it knows that it's going to take an extreme amount of damage. Select all targets, termination override, disable targets only, reminding itself that it's still under orders not to kill.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you, Goki.
Yeah. Oh, and not this scene itself, but the scene where the Terminator is shooting the cop cars and
the minigun
earlier. Yeah. I had quote tweeted. I can't remember what quote tweet I was talking about. It was like something about how like James Cameron didn't removed a 10-minute scene or something from the Avatar 2 movie because he didn't want to fetishize guns. So I quote tweeted him, quote tweeted that tweet, and said he's got to look for the word fetishize. Really, pretty much.
Well, you want to know something even more? James Cameron fired off the minigun in a canyon, and he got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh man, fetishize. You don't want to fetishize guns, dude. You had such a boner freaking firing off that minigun before you gave it over to Arnold.
Yeah. And then someone, and the Gigawatts, I think you remember this because they responded to this guy. It's like, how is this scene not fetishizing guns? And it's like particularly the scene where he's shooting the cop cars. And I'm like,
Yeah.
again, I didn't respond to this guy, but I'm thinking again, look up the word fetish and fetish size. All right. And secondly, he's got to do that. Otherwise, the cops are going to storm the building. So he's disabling
All
their
the
cars
weapons,
and everything, and he's
cars.
driving them back.
Yeah. He's giving that, or he's basically scaring off the air cavalry with the or air surveillance with the chopper. As soon as that dude noticed the mini, it's like, that's a damn minigun. I'm out of here. And disabling all the vehicles to make sure that they can't pursue. That was another situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you want to ensure that you have a chance of survival, because if John Connor or Sarah Connor or anybody gets killed, the mission's over.
Yeah.
John Connor does have to survive, but if Sarah Connor dies, well, Uncle Bob's going to have to survive to take care of John, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's a T-101. What's a T-800? 101 is the model number of the T-800. The T-800 is the series model, or it's series and model, kind of like a make and model. The 101 is the skin, or is the skin mold of Arnold Schwarzenegger. 102 would actually be somebody like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or somebody else that could fit a T-800 body structure. And earlier we were talking about how the T-1000 fears, or Skynet would fear the T-1000. The Sarah Connor Chronicles actually explains why the T-1000 is feared. It's because the T-1000 in that show, in the second season, the Resistance tries capturing the T-1000 to recruit it. And in one timeline, the T-1000 says no. And in another timeline, the T-1000 says yes, before it was even programmed by Skynet. So there is that problem. There is that potential.
Yeah. So I'm just going to show one last part before we wrap it up, because this is again one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Which again kind of culminates in how human essentially the Terminator was becoming, the T-800 one, not the T-1000 model. The T-1000 model at this point, sorry Chad, I wish I could show it, but he has been literally melted.
Terminated.
Right? Terminating. But I love this scene. And again, I wish I could play it, because it is extremely moving, because what's essentially dying is a cyborg, but again, he's become more human than most humans on this planet, and he's looking at this kid who's crying, John Connor. He's like, I understand why you cry.
I know now why you cry, but it is something that I can never do.
Yeah. I know now why you cry.
Even Sarah at this moment fully accepts the Terminator by shaking its hand. And if you watch the Terminator vision when it's submerged in the steel, you can actually read out its own readouts. It's saying ambient temperature critical, systems or shutdown imminent and whatnot. I order you not to go. Oh, shut up, Buffy.
He's literally, I know, but again, tears up, because I can order you not to go. He's like, I have to. But he has to.
There is a line that was not put in the final cut or the special cut. I have to go, where he turns, and when he turns around, the flesh face is kind of shadowed a bit, and the cybernetic face is more illuminated, or I am the future.
Yeah.
Which they have to destroy all of it. However, they missed one piece, which was his arm that was stuck in the gear.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, like, again, when I pose the question, like, someone else could take the place, and that's what happened exactly in Terminator 3.
Yep. And instead of turning it into, or instead of giving Skynet a central core system, they turned it into an absolute AI.
Yeah. So
You must lower
but,
me into the
yeah.
I cannot. Yeah.
You cannot self-terminate. Like, you have to do it. Yes, it is such a beautiful scene.
Which is actually a nice little thing. I cannot self-terminate. Basically, suicide is even not permitted by or it's an interesting concept that suicide is not permitted under Skynet's rules. So that's an interesting thing. I mean, what if they needed one to go kamikaze, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, true, but if I remember correctly, we didn't exactly see Dyson destroy anything at his home.
He was
Now,
burning files. He was burning
Yeah.
files.
But did he, like, did he get everything? So, that's
it's assumed he did. He also destroys the processor in this in this version of the film.
Well, the
he
big
actually
processor in the lab. So
yeah, he borrows the axe and he's like, I worked a lot of years on this thing, and then just busts it, which is the reason why you see, which is the thing he was holding before he dropped it on the detonator cuff.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how the director of Dark Fate hated this scene? Well, the director of Dark Fate is a beta. Pretty much.
Tim Miller, I mean, he did a good thing with Deadpool, but he fucked up totally. He now admits that he fucked up with Dark Fate.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. But that is, like I said, couldn't exactly go through the entirety of the movie because then we'd be here for like hours and hours because it's a long movie and there's a lot to cover, pretty much. But I wanted to cover like the big parts, like the big psychological angles for like human behavior, motivations, the differences between the Terminators that we see in this movie. Actually, both the T-800 and John Connor grow as characters, pretty much, because John starts out as like a juvenile delinquent, and now he realizes his mom was telling the truth, that she wasn't crazy or anything like that. Oh, there's one line in the movie that I actually like laughed at, where when John talks about when he was like introduced to a normal school, because he'd like been living his life learning how to shoot guns and on engines,
learn how to blow shit up.
And all these kids are into Nintendo. Like he just sneers that word out.
Nintendo.
Yeah. And I love how he sneers that word out. I'm like, yes.
It's like, damn, dude, yeah. He's freaking, or they're all into Nintendo. He's got a fucking Terminator that's better than a Sega Genesis.
Yeah, pretty much. But thank you, everyone in the chat. Sorry for the stream interruption. YouTube doesn't understand the concept of fair use or anything like that, so it is what it is. But thank you. Like, once I can dual stream on Rumble, hopefully this shouldn't happen again necessarily, or at the very least, if you're on the Rumble side, that you won't get the stream interruption or anything like that. So, but anyway, like Steve had to dip out, so I thank him for like time he joined. But Orange Chat, again, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Well, or you could find me on YouTube. I sometimes come over here. I help mod the chat for Mara on her Cringe Factories and on her Saturday night streams. I also do mystery reviews every Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. The hint for next week so far is a Hitchcock film that I have not seen. More hints will be coming later. I do guest choice reviews. You can find me on Twitter. The guest choice review, if you want to do one, you pick the movie, the time, and the date. And it's a movie that we both enjoy. We can talk, or we can shoot the shit, enjoy it, whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much. You can find me also on Instagram. Look for this icon, not the other icon, because that's a hacked account. So yeah, fuck you, Instagram, for not killing that account yet. But yeah, that's where you guys can find me. And Mara, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you. And I was telling Stieg this in like DMs when he was like giving me ideas for like possible 1s and 2s to do next time. I might put a poll out. I might try to narrow it down to 4, and I might put a poll on Twitter to have people vote because, like I said, there is a lot. Like Fright Night 1 and 2, Gremlins 1 and 2, Boondock Saints 1 and 2.
I can't find. I can't find anywhere where they have a digital release for Fright Night 2.
I'm sure I'll try to find it. I'm sure there's like a way for like people to find it. I'm just giving these as examples that I've seen and I know are good, like 1s and 2s, like Jaws 1 and 2, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, Hellraiser 1 and 2, Friday the 13th 1 and 2, Halloween 1 and 2, Child's Play 1 and 2.
Oh, it. Trey, freaking send that to me.
Well, there you go. Like when we get there, that's be a way to do it. Yeah. Odyssey, I mean, I don't know because my channel is mirrored on Odyssey, but I haven't seen any ability to live stream there yet. So, and I know you can find random stuff on Odyssey, but I don't know about that. YouTube, yes. I'm gonna say no to this gravy. But like
cute movies, but this is Mara we're talking about.
Yeah.
We do awesome movies, not cute movies.
Like Scream, like Trace said, Scream 1 and 2 earlier. Gravy had like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the 1 and 2, which would work, things like that. Yeah, so plenty out there that will definitely last until the end of the year, at least at the rate we're going. So, but anyway, Trey, do you have my Rumble link? Sorry, handy. So I really gotta make a note with my links pretty much. But yeah, I am on Rumble, and this gets mirrored over there.
I'm thinking about getting Rumble, but it's like I got Odyssey. Should I get Rumble? It's like, oh my god.
I got it like more or less like just in case something happens with Odyssey or whatever. Like there's like 2 places like these, like the streams and videos get mirrored to for people. So in case like they have trouble accessing one, they can access another sort of situation. But yeah, but this is my Rumble. Right here.
I got a bunch of freaking playlists on my YouTube. I have put so much time and money into this damn channel.
Yeah.
Doing it on Rumble, anyway, it's like that's just
yeah. So, but anyway, again, thank you, Chad. If I hit 100 like subs, essentially like followers on Rumble, I can dual stream over there. So if you can, give me a follow over there. So that way, like I said, so for anything that I stream like this in the future, it should not be interrupted on the Rumble side, pretty much. But again, next week will be the top 10 discussion that we generally end months with. And for the top 10 is the top 10, what we did with the 80s movies. So it's your top 10 per year. So top 10 movie in 1990, 91, top movie, I should say, in 90, 91, 92, and so forth. So through 99. So that is your list for the 90s list. Your top movie per year, 90s edition. All right.
Jeez, that's like high school level homework.
Yeah. So real fast. I'm not gonna go into both sessions, but the reason why I tell Stieg to sleep with one eye open is not last session, but the session before, because I play with Teresa and Laura, and Laura couldn't make it because she had some family stuff she was dealing with. So Teresa and I did like a side mission. And I say side mission because it really wasn't a mission. We woke up, our characters woke up, everything was fine, and then we noticed an itch in a very delicate spot. So for a chunk of the early on is our characters trying to delicately as possible explain our situations to multiple side characters people they assumed we were pregnant. They assumed we had an STD. But our characters were cursed. And one of the side characters, one of the apothecary chick, gave us an ointment that was same color as peanut butter. So we had to walk around with that to apply it while we're trying to narrow down what happened to us. Yes, we found out that we were cursed by a witch that we had failed to kill earlier in the game. So we had to kill her, otherwise we would have died from the curse. And yes, it was pretty much that.
Oh my god!
So we're going to these characters, and I'm like, my character is a temptress, and so when the magic users and the necromancer wanted to examine us, I'm like, my character's like, fuck it, here, look. I'm just showing these characters
Lifting the quilt or the kilt.
Yeah, well, my character is barely clothed as it is, so I'm like, fuck it, like look, pretty much.
Oh my god.
That's what happened. I'm not going to go into details, but essentially it was from a curse, and that's what we had to go through that session. That's why I tell Stig that he has to sleep with one eye open. So we eventually killed the witch. We tracked her down to this Glen, and she had 3 boy toys with her. So Teresa and I killed the 3 boy toys and then killed the witch. So, but yeah, that was the that was the gist of the side mission we had to do. So yes, Stig is very much in trouble. But anyway, thank you again, chat.
Shove a dagger up his ass and turn.
I'm telling him he could send me something, but he's going to be giving me his address, and I will send him candles. I will send him Paltrow candles. I will find a way to send him Paltrow candles.
Nice.
But anyway, again, thank you, chat. I will be live on Twitch tomorrow evening, and then my plan is on Friday, because I want to take Friday evening to relax a bit, trying to do a live stream on my live channel that I've been neglecting these past few months because of the holidays and everything. So I'm going to try to do a live stream over there. Probably about 1 p.m. Eastern, so it'll be an early live stream. Not go for long, because I'll be soloing it. Going through some articles and giving my thoughts on articles. And then shortly after that stream ends, jumping onto Twitch and playing a bit of Twitch for a couple hours. So that way I get YouTube and Twitch in on Friday and be able to relax Friday evening. Because the next day I'll be celebrating a dual birthday celebration for my mom and my one brother. I have no idea when my family's going to leave. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do any stream whatsoever before Talk Nerdy later on in the evening. And it should be on Steph's channel if she remembers. But I'll remind her. And yeah, then I take Sunday off and then back to normal schedule on Monday. So that is what you can find me, chat. So thank you all again. This is my live channel. So again, chat, hope you have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And we will see you all next time, and I will figure out which 1s and 2s we'll be doing next. So take care and peace out.
Take it easy.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.